Hey there. Saw this post on Reddit by Jadot was here. Hope I didn't butcher that. They want a plugin where you can prevent people from renaming an item based upon if that item has something in its lore. In this case, powerful weapon, quote. And the original poster didn't, or they mentioned that they're not experienced in programming, so I figured I might as well make this video not as more of a tutorial, but more of as a step-by-step by how I would create a plugin to accomplish such a task. So in the plugin, we're going to go ahead and tell Bucket that we want our class here, our plugin class, to listen to Bucket events. So that just is this line here, this line here, and then the class needs to implement listen because that is the interface that Bucket uses to denote a event listener class. So the event that we're going to be listening to is prepare anvil event. This event cannot be canceled, but what this can do is you can set the result for the event. This event's called when someone puts something in an anvil or just something about the anvil changes, which is going to be perfect for us. So on our event here, we're going to go ahead and get the inventory because we're obviously going to be looking at it. Have our anvil's inventory. We're going to get the item that is at inventory slot 0. So indexes start at 0, not 1, which is why the first item in the inventory, the input slot on the left, that's at index 0. So the inventory get item at index 0 is going to be our input. And we're going to say if we do have an input, because keep in mind we might not, if we have an input item, and we're going to next check if that input item has metadata about it. If it does, we're going to go ahead and get the item metadata. And on that metadata, item metadata has lore. An item may or may not have lore, so we're going to access that to a variable, and we're going to say if the lore does exist, if it's not null, we're going to go ahead and iterate over it. For every line in the lore, we're going to say if the line dot contains, we'll just say powerful weapon as the original poster wanted. If the line contains powerful weapon, we're going to say, or we're gonna prevent the item from being renamed. That's what we're going to do right here. Otherwise, if any of these conditions fail, then it's not a restricted weapon in the input slot, and we don't have to really worry about it. But if the input is our powerful weapon, we're just going to set a flag here. We'll just do it up here. Boolean can't be renamed. It's going to start as false, but if we find something that can't be renamed, we'll set it to true. We'll go ahead and break out of this for loop here. So down here, where we have some space, we'll do can't be renamed. If it can't be renamed, we're going to go ahead and set the event's result to a clone of the input, but making sure the input doesn't change its name, its display name. So event.get result, or no, we're going to be setting the result to our item that we haven't exactly made yet. So our item stack item is going to be our input, but we're going to get a clone of the input because we're going to be modifying, or we're not going to actually do that. We're going to be our item is going to be the result, which might have the display name changed if the person tries to rename it. If it does get, or if they do try to rename it, we're going to be setting the display name for the result item to the inputs item. So because we already checked if the input has meta up here, or else this would not be running, we just go ahead and grab that. So the item for the input meta is going to be the input.get meta. If the well, we don't even need to check actually. We'll just go ahead and set it directly. So the item, get item meta, the result meta result meta dot set display name to the input item meta dot get display name. So our result display name will always match the input one, and then we need to apply that to the resulting item. We'll actually just rename this to result, but result dot set item meta to our result meta, and that should quite literally be it. That's our plugin. Let's go ahead and package it up, and we will throw it on the server. Just go ahead and refresh this, reload, target, throw that in here, and we'll go ahead and start up our server. Alright, so now that we're in the game, we can go and open up the anvil, and let's just throw our diamond sword in here. Obviously our diamond sword does not have the lore that we're looking for, so if we do try to rename it, just to something, it'll go through just fine. We can rename it. We can take it out, diamond sword. But if we try to rename our netherite sword, that has the lore, the little keyword that we're looking for, we can't be renaming this. So we put it in here, and we get a big error. What do we do? On prepare anvil 46. Where's 46? Result dot get out. We might not have a result. That is very true. If our result is not null. Let's go ahead and package that back up. And we'll go ahead and stop the server. Put our updated plugin in. Start the server back up. Alright, try that again. Throw another sword in. Here we go. Rename it. And as you can see, our display name has not changed. It's the exact same. Even though I'm typing up here, you can kind of see it before it updates, but promise me that your game would say, oh, I tried to rename it to this, but then the server's like, no, actually, it didn't change. So let's go ahead and try it. Just name it ASDF. Should be ASDF, but our plugin's like, nope. Get our sword back, and it's still the same. Still another ice sword. Cannot rename it. Simple as that. And of course, if we throw our diamond sword in, rename it just fine. Netherite sword, not happening. So what about if we didn't want our keyword here to be powerful weapon? What if we wanted it to be something else? And to do that's actually pretty simple. We just need a config file. And Bucket plugins by default actually come with a complete way to automatically do configs. All you gotta do is just go ahead and create a config file. So config.yml in the top level of your jar's resources. And we'll just say keyword. And it'll be a list of strings. So the first one we'll do is powerful weapon. Don't need quotes. And we can do, some other strings if we want. Just for this example, we'll keep it to powerful weapon, but I'll show you how to access this list, this potential list here. So in our plugin, first off, right when the plugin loads, we need to save the default config if it doesn't already exist, because of course, people need to be able to edit it. And that's just done literally just by doing this. As long as you have a config.yml in your plugin, save default config will throw it in the plugins folder and make sure it's where it needs to be. So that said, we can actually start using this new keyword option that we made. So where we're checking if the line contains powerful weapon, what we can actually do instead of that is get config, which, like I said, the Bucket API has a built-in config system for plugins. So we can do this anywhere in this plugin, in this plugin class. If getConfig.getStringList with our path that we came up with earlier, which is keyword. if this list, we'll iterate over it. So for every keyword in that list, we're just going to do the same thing, except we're going to be using that keyword variable that we just got from the for loop. That's simple. If we put some other phrases in this keyword thing, it would check them one by one for every line of the lore. If any of the lore, you know, matched one of these, or not matched, but contains one of these keywords, can't be renamed, will then be true. Simple as that. Honestly, couldn't be any simpler. So thanks for watching. Uh, Eventually, I might be doing a few more of these videos. If people post some plugin ideas to r/admincraft, I might make a video about, how I would create those plugins. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.